Hey, Teresa, how is Dr. Ho? I have not seen him for a long time. I'm always following his posts. Dr. Ho is fine. I'm sure he's fine. He's always fine. Well, okay. Welcome to our third lesson on the book of James. Today we'll cover chapter 3, where James covered the tongue. It's quite interesting that while he was trying to encourage the people about, being persecuted, going through all this crisis, and I am okay. It's recorded. Okay, let me go back to where I am. Okay, it's very interesting that, while in the midst of writing to people who are fearful for their lives, they are going through persecution, yet he inserted this chapter about the tongue. I suppose death and life comes, as the book of Proverbs we have spoken about this, life and death, comes through this little thing called the tongue. And during crisis, we must be careful what we speak on. We can bring death and life even to ourselves and to the people around us. And that's why he inserted this, chapter, this thing about the tongue, to tell them, hey, be careful about your speech, because while you're undergoing this stress, while you're undergoing all these challenges in your life, your speech matters, your tongue matters in terms of how you recover from this crisis and how you can help others to recover from it. So, it's strange because he's writing to people who are discouraged, people who are hiding from, the crisis. And yet yesterday he told them that, hey, you got to show up your Christian life and your Christian faith. Your faith and your deeds must be one. And remember, your deeds consist of helping the poor, giving clothes to the poor and all that. And then today he talked about the tongue. So, which means, based on James' writing, while we are going through crisis, don't just focus on yourself. Be attentive to other people's needs as well. Show up your Christian life, and also show up and also be careful about your speech, so that you will then speak forth life to yourself and to others. So I have this little video about a couple here they own a little mama papa shop, a bakery shop, and they were trying to do a commercial about their shop. Here it is. Let's watch this.
The line is baked in a buttery, flaky crust.
Baked on a buttery crust.
It's close.
Buttery.
Baked in a buttery flavored crust. Baked in a buttery flavored crust. Crust. Yeah.
Baked in a buttery, flaky crust. Baked in a buttery, flaky crust.
Here we go.
Baked on a buttery, crispy crust. Flaky. I like flaky over there. They should have that true part up there. Baked on a buttery. Okay. Baked on a buttery, crispy crust.
Damn, flaky.
I thought I said flaky. Okay.
Oh,
Baked on a buttery, flaky crust.
you should have had me do that.
Oh yeah, she does that good.
Baked in the buttery, flaky.
Baked on a buttery, crispy crust. Crispy, God damn it, crispy. Okay,
Yeah.
crispy,
Flaky.
flaky.
Three smiles. Look at the
Oh
camera.
my God.
David smiles. You agree?
Baked in a buttery,
Flaky.
flaky crust. Did I screw up again?
Yes, you did.
I did.
Big smile.
Baked in a buttery flavored,
Flaky.
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 baked in a buttery,
Camera. Say.
flaky,
Crust. Okay. Here we go.
baked in a buttery,
Flaky.
flaky crust. Ah,
Baked in a oops.
Sometimes it's easy for us to just speak, and when we are before camera, like I am now, sometimes we are tongue-tied. We can say all the wrong things. So, review of yesterday's lessons. If we are facing challenges, crisis, or conflict, as a believer of faith, as a Christians who stand up for our faith, we need to then react accordingly and not react emotionally or to the point where we actually destroy relationship as a result of our own indiscretion. So as faith, as we call ourselves faith people, then we need to respond to challenges, not react to challenges. Respond to challenges based on our faith, and the conduct and our deeds uh, must be accordance to the faith that we stand up for. So when we say we are Christians and then we are not conducting ourselves as per what our faith is telling us to do and how we should be conducting, then that leads to incongruency, that we are not consistent in our walk as Christians, as God's people. So we need to learn how to then work on our deeds. Yesterday, I talked about the 4 things that we need to do as Christians. Number 1, we need to live righteously. Number 2, we have to overcome every obstacles. We are not going to escape and ask God to take us out of the valley of shadow of death. David walked through the valley of shadow of death, and God was with him throughout that passage, through that valley of shadow of death. Sometimes we're so cowed by what's going on. We ask God to take us out of the problem. No, sometimes God don't take us out of the problem. God wants us to overcome the problem, just as David did. He walked through the valley of shadow of death. That's what Christian life is all about. We don't escape, we don't get out, we don't circumvent, we walk through. And sometimes the best way out is through. And then we need to love and value people, not devalue them, not dehumanize them, and we don't show partiality. We must be impartial in the way we do. And the thing that we need to do is to evangelize the world. How do we show that the Christ is in us? Well, we have to learn how to show that conduct, that life, that Christ is in us to the world, so that people can see that Christ is in us. They know we are Christian by our love. And this is how we should be conducting ourselves. Our faith and our walk must be congruent. And therefore, the two must be one. We cannot have faith and our walk differently. Otherwise, that will result in what the Nicolaitans were doing in the book of Revelation that we studied last week. And so if God is concerned about your soul, that's the practice. God is concerned about your soul, but he's not concerned about your conduct. That means you can do anything you want, you're going straight to heaven. That's Balanism, and that is Nicolaitans' belief. Once saved, always saved. But when we studied the book of Revelation last week, it's not so. God can take you out and spew you out, even though you may be Christian. Then we may not make it. And there are 10 virgins with the Lamb, but only 5 made it because they were not ready. So live right, overcome obstacles, whatever they may be, the challenges that may be, value others, love others. Then through your lifestyle, you evangelize the word and show the Christian love to others. Words, as in the book of Proverbs here says, the tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So the tongue has the power to produce life, and also have the power to kill. The usual suspects in the crime scene here during, as we are in conflict with, whether it's within ourselves or we are having conflict with others, this is the ABC of suspect here. We tend to annoy ourselves, annoy others. We tend to blast at ourselves, blast at others. We tend to chastise ourselves and chastise others. So sometimes when we are using such languages like annoyance and blasting and chastising all the time, then we become repulsive in the way we communicate, right? Empty vessel makes the most noise. Remember what we said yesterday? When the body is empty, we're crushable. And when we're being crushed, it makes a lot of noise. Empty vessels makes the most noise. But when you're full, when you're not crushable, you make less noise. You see, the confident people, the courageous people, they are less noisy than those who are more insecure. Usually the more insecure people are, the more noisier person, because they're empty inside. And so if we then put God first and live our life according to our faith, the faith and our deeds are one. Put God first. Let's see the changes. From annoyance, we then speak anointing to people rather than annoying. We anoint people. Instead of blasting at people, we bless people. Instead of chastising people all the time, we cherish the people that we are communicating with. I think this is the best way to communicate. Firstly, you anoint people. Ask God to anoint them with the power of the Holy Spirit, no matter who they are. They may be the people who will betray you, who have caused a great and grave pain into your life, but hey, anoint them, bless them, and cherish them, love them. Remember, we should show impartiality to whoever that may have hurt us in our past or betrayed us, perhaps in the past weeks or so. So anoint them, bless them, cherish them. When we put God first, and this is how we should conduct ourselves, and this is how we should regard our speech to be like: anoint, bless, and cherish. Not annoy, not bless, and not chastise. Okay, when we annoy, we blast, we chastise all the time, we don't make a lot of good relationship. We don't build friendship. In fact, we build war and enemies as a result of that. Well, an angry word produces four things here. An angry word wages war. An angry word is offensive to others. An angry word ridicules a person. An angry word destroys relationship. So if we are not careful, if we are angry all the time, so we will create all this conflict. We wage war. We sound offensive. We ridicule others because we put others down, and as a result of this, we destroy relationship. So your words matter in terms of how you conduct yourself and how you relate with people. A calm word, on the other hand, warms hearts. While a calm word offers support, a calm word relates better to others, and a calm word diffuses tension. So you don't have to show your anger all the time. When something goes wrong, calm down, relax, and then speak forth life. Speak up so that you can lift up. Don't speak up to tear down. You speak up to lift up. I remember there was once in Singapore, I was driving and someone cut into my lane, and I just flashed a headlight at him and said, "Hey, you're driving dangerously." I was just flashing that headlight at him for doing that. I did not even honk at him. And then he suddenly braked his car because he got mad with me for flashing my light. He braked his car. I got a jam brake in order to avoid that collision into his car. And then he slowly moved off, and I slowly tried to follow. And then I tried to overtake him and go into the outer lane to overtake him. Then he obstructed me. When I attempt to go in the outer lane, he also go to the outer lane. So when I try to go into the inner lane, he goes into the inner lane. So he was basically trying to block me. And on the highway, we were doing the tango. So we are doing this, and after a while, I know that this guy is not going to let me go. So I slow down, go to the side of the road. And when I slow down, he also slowed down because he wants to, perhaps want to irritate me. And when he slowed down, I realized that, okay, I can overtake him. I overtook him. And when I overtook him, he then followed me. So when I turned to the left, he turned to the left. When I turned to the right, he turned to the right. So he then followed me. I realized that this guy is going to follow me to my office, and he's going to be angry. And I thought, if I drive to my office, which the car park is in the basement, then he would beat me up. And in the basement, then what will happen to me? And nobody is there, and I will be lying in the car park, and then being, I thought, this guy is going to beat me up. He's so angry. So I decided that I should not be driving to my office, because if I drive to my office, number one, he's going to beat me up in the car park. Number two, he knows where I work. And so instead of driving to my office, I drove to the hospital, Singapore General Hospital. And I know that in the Singapore General Hospital car park, block 4, there are car park valleys. And because I visit there, I go there pretty often, not because I need to be hospitalized, but because I see a lot of patients when I go there. So I know that there are usually 3 or 4 car park valleys there. And so I drive there because if this guy's going to beat me up, and then I have the valets to witness what's going on, rather than being in the car park in a basement being beaten up, and not, no one know that I am injured or some kind. So when I arrived at the car park, he came from behind, and the car park valet came up to me, opened my car door, and said, "Good morning, sir. Coming to see a patient." And then before I could respond, the guy from the back screeched and come to my back. He opened his door. He rushed at me. And the valet looked at him and looked at me and know that this guy is coming at me. And so the three of them went to him to stop him from coming towards me. No one stopped me, but the three guys tried to stop him, and he was angry, gesticulating at me and shouting. I really do not know what he was shouting all about, and what his shouting was all about. And he was just gesticulating at me and all that. And the three car park valets was holding him back, and no one was holding me. I realized that in this situation in a public place, if I'm going to be fighting with this guy, someone somehow will get up the phone and take a video of it and put it on their Facebook and in the social media, and then my face will be up there fighting psychologists, fighting or pastor, fighting in the street. And so I calm myself down. I say, he's angry. He's going to wage war. He's going to say all the offensive thing. He's going to ridicule me. He's going to destroy whatever that is there. And I'm a Christian. I have the faith in me, so I must conduct myself well. So while the three men were holding on to me, I walked towards him, put my hands at the back of my body. I put my hands at the back, and I told him, I don't know why you're angry with me. I was speaking in a very calm, low tone voice, because I believe I am the climate controller. If I yell and shout, I'm only giving fuel to his anger. So I said, I don't know why you are angry with me. But if you ever lay your hands on me, any punch that you put on me, I make sure that you go to jail. I make sure that you will not get away from this. I'm not going to respond to you. I'm putting my hands behind my back. I'm not going to respond to your anger. But if you lay your finger at me, there is a police station. The CID complex is just next door. The hospital is here. But actually, I go to the hospital also because if he beat me up, I don't need an ambulance to go to the hospital. I can just walk to the ward and get myself admitted. And I told him the hospital is here. There are witnesses here. If you lay your hands on me, I know your car number. We know who you are. I make sure that you pay for this. I make sure that you go to jail. You go ahead and do what you need to do. I put my hands behind me, and then I look at him, calm, placid. And then he yelled and shouted, and then he walked away. He went back to his car. He drove off. I don't know what he yelled at, what he was yelling at, maybe because I was just flashing my headlight at him. That's it. And after he left, the three car park valet looked at me and said, "Hey, dog, wow, you're super cool, man. You are like, wow, you put your hands behind your back. You're super cool." But actually, when at that moment, wasn't very cool. My heart was beating. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. I was like, I was like a duck, up above water. I was appearing very calm, but down below, I was paddling like mad. My heartbeat was I was beating like mad, and they were so impressed with me. He said, "Doc, you're very good." I said, no. Then he asked me, "Are you still going to the hospital?" I said, "Okay, I'm just going to the canteen and have my coffee or my tea and all that." You park my car. They parked my car. I went to the canteen and just drank my coffee and just calm myself down. You see, the thing is, if I respond in anger, likewise to his emotions, heart and heart cannot work together. So I have to prepare myself. As I knew I'm going to the hospital. I knew that I'm going to be a public place, because that would be my intention in any way, to go to a public place so that I can be protected. And I know that I need to calm down. I know that I cannot be angry, because if I'm angry, I will be no different from him. He's an angry man and possibly not a Christian, but I'm a Christian. I must show that my faith and my deeds must be together in that sense. We must be incongruent. And therefore, I need to calm myself down and show that I'm not a violent man. I'm not an aggressive man. Neither am I an angry man. So I allow him to vent, but I'm not going to respond. I know at the risk of him being, a risk of me being punched by him. But then the hospital is next door, so I can get treatment pretty quick without having to call for an ambulance. And the CID complex is just next to the Singapore General Hospital, so I can make a police report and all that. I know I have the law behind me, and I don't have to take this matter in my own hands. So every time I go to the hospital now, the valleys will look at me and say, "Hey, now you're here again." They look behind. Anyone following you today? Okay, I'm not that mad as a driver, you know. So, but it was a joke. It's a joke between the car valleys and myself. Every time I drive there, I say, "Anyone following you today?" See, a calm word warms heart. A calm word offers support. A calm word helps you to relate to others. A calm word also diffuses tension. So James chapter 3, verse 1 says, "Not many of you should presume to be teachers, my brothers." Not many of you should presume to be teachers, my brothers, because you know that we who teach will be judged strictly, more strictly. Not many of you should presume to be teachers. You know, I'm a teacher, so you know what is it like, because as teacher we speak more than others, and the more we speak, the more we are liable to speak wrongly, speak the wrong words grammatically. We will be judged that, oh, your past tense, your continuous tense are all wrong, in the wrong places and all that. So we are open to all kinds of criticism and all kinds of judgment, and we may be saying the wrong thing, speaking the wrong thing, and quoting the wrong verses, and then sometimes you can be judged and be criticized that, oh, you do not know the scripture enough to, and all that. So we as teachers, we are open to all kinds of criticism. So James is telling them that, hey, you don't assume to be teachers. You're not as bad as us. Like James calling himself a teacher. We will be judged more than others. Every preacher, every pastor, every teacher, every preacher will, anyone who do public speaking will be judged harshly, especially right now when there are social medias out there that we can, once we put our video up there, we open ourselves to the world to judge us. And that's why I try to keep my videos private towards, to people that I know. You want to review your lessons, I give you the password, so that I'm not going to open myself up to criticism from anybody in the world to just watch those videos and criticize, because they don't know the context of it. That's why I'm not so much open to give my videos away and have them published in social medias. He said, we all stumble in many ways. We all. So James has included himself in this. As a teacher, he would stumble more than anybody else. He will be judged more than anybody else. He says, we all stumble in many ways. If anyone is at fault in what he says, he's a perfect man, able to keep his whole body in check. So nobody is able to say, is never at fault. Nobody can claim that they are never at fault in what he said. Nobody is perfect, because if you're perfect, you can keep your whole body in check. Very, very interesting. Your tongue can keep your whole body in check. Your tongue, just a little here, little thing, little organ in your body, full of muscles, and most flexible muscles in your entire body, but it can keep your whole body in check, or it can cause your entire body to be in a disorder of some kind. When we put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us, we can turn the whole animal. Just bits. The horses weigh thousands of pounds, and yet when we put bits into their mouth, we can turn and control them. Or take ships as an example. Therefore, although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. The tongue also is a fire, a wall of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole person. The tongue is so small, but it corrupts the whole person. It sets the whole course of his life on fire, and itself sets on fire by hell. You see, as I mentioned earlier, this was supposed to be a letter of encouragement to the people who were fearful for their lives. And yet he told them, hey, be congruent with your faith and your deed, be one. And you know what? True and genuine faith is to visit the orphans and the widows. And now he said, hey, make sure you keep your tongue in check, because if not, you're actually going to destroy yourself more than the problem that you're facing that is destroying you. So the way you speak about your problem will then increases the intensity of the problem. So be careful of what you speak. Careful, check, put this in check. It says all kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and creatures of the sea are being tamed and have been tamed by man, but no man can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. In the book of Revelation, I show pictures of all the devilish figure of every economies, every culture, and like the Chinese have devils with long tongue, and even the Western world have devils with a long tongue. In fact, I show pictures of all the culture of the picture images of devilish figure. They all have long tongue. You see, the devil is a deceiver, and then he takes advantage of our tongue that is untamed, and that causes evil. We speak evil to about others, and we also speak damnation, condemnation to ourselves. And that's why during while you're under pressure, learn to speak up, upwards. Learn to speak up, not speak out. Speak up so that you can be lifted up. So during that time of pressure, crisis, challenges, make sure that you control this, because this is going to make your situation better or it's going to make your situation worse. With the tongue, we praise our Lord and our Father, and with it we curse men, and we have been made who have been made in God's likeness. And so we is again, faith and conduct must be one, right? With this tongue, we praise God. With that tongue, we also, curse others. Last week we talked about Revelation. So sometimes today I saw a picture of someone putting up on Facebook that Obama is the first beast, and the Pope Francis is the second beast. So be watchful of them. I think that's we got the whole concept of Revelation wrong. That we start pointing out who is the devil, who is the Antichrist, and who is the first beast, who's the second beast. They don't understand the whole concept of Revelation, and therefore they begin to curse people and judge people and say that, oh, Pope Francis is the second beast, and then Obama is the first beast. No, we don't. We know that from last week's lesson. The first beast is an angel being like Lucifer. He was cast down from heaven, and the second beast is someone who hosts the devil, in that sense, become the devil's representative. Who are we to tell them Pope Francis is the second beast? We should not be judging people. We should be valuing people, because until our last breath, that person can be salvaged, can be redeemed, like the two other criminals who was hung on the cross with Jesus. They were criminals. They committed crime, but on the last breath, God says, today you will be with me in paradise. So that's why the second beast is not named. The first beast was given, like he was the angel that will fall off from the sky. And therefore, God is just making sure that you and I will live our life righteously, overcome every obstacles that come our way, value people, and then from our lifestyle, we evangelize, we make disciples of all nations. Out of the same mouth come praises and cursing. My brothers, this should not be. Again, the consistency of our faith and our conduct is being put up here. Yesterday is about our conduct. Today is about our tongue. If you praise God with this tongue, make sure that this same tongue do not curse another person. Because you praise God here with this tongue, you curse another person, you are incongruent with your faith. If you praise God with this tongue and then you curse yourself, then you're incongruent. Your faith and your deeds. And in today's context, your deeds in today's context is your speech. In your speech, you condemn yourself, you condemn others, then there is no congruency in your Christian walk. So 3 reasons why we need to speak up to lift up ourselves when under pressure. Number 1, our speech directs our lives. It directs the way we speak, directs our life, where we are going, and what we are, where we are heading. We all stumble in many ways. Whoever is never at fault in what they say is perfect. But nobody's perfect. Because if you are never at fault in what you say, then you're able to keep your whole body in check. And so we got to be conscious of this fact that we are never perfect, and that's why we have to control this. Sometimes we become so complacent. Oh, I'm such a good communicator. I will not say anything wrong, and therefore, you then lack that self-awareness, thinking that when I say something is true, I condemn people because it's true. Then you assume yourself as perfect. But we have to be watchful of this. What they say. Sometimes we say all the wrong things. Sometimes you see commercial and advertisement, they come up with all the wrong script that sounded funny. For instance, here's a setting things straight in a newspaper. They try to set things straight. Here is a typographical error. So due to a typing error, Saturday's story on local artist John Henniger mistakenly reported that Henniger's bandmate Eric Lyde was on drugs. The story should have read that Lyde was on drums, not on drugs. Can you imagine? The Cytenia regrets the error. Can you imagine if you are Eric Lyde's parents, mother or dad, read in the paper that Lyde is on drugs. What? My son is on drugs. What happened? So they have a family conflict, and the Lyde would say, "No, I was never on drugs." And so all this can cause misunderstanding. Correction. Due to incorrect information received from the clerk of court's office, Diane K. Merchant, age 38, this place, was incorrectly listed as being fined for prostitution in Wednesday's paper. The charge should have been failure to stop at railroad crossing. The public opinion apologized for the error. The lady did not stop at the railroad crossing, but the paper published that she was fined for prostitution. Can you imagine? Your name is being published in the papers, and then everybody now read this, that, what? You are a prostitute, and nobody read the correction the day after or 2 days after. Can you imagine that it can condemn a person based on all these words that mistakenly show that you are someone else? Statistics show that teen pregnancy drops off significantly after age 25. Because after age 25, you're no longer a teen. That's why there's no more teenage pregnancy. So it's amazing. Students cook and serve grandparents. It can be read that today I cook dinner and I serve steak tonight. I will be serving steak tonight. Here it says students cook and serve their grandparents. They're cooking their grandparents and serve them. And then another news report here says army vehicle disappeared. An Australian army vehicle worth 74,000 has gone missing after being painted with camouflage. It's so well camouflaged that it disappeared. Again, another newspaper report. Most earthquake damage is caused by shaking. What else? Headless body in topless bar. Wow, what a pun here, Now, here they forgot to put the period, and it sounds so wrong when you forget to put the period. He said, hunters, please use caution when hunting pedestrians using walk trails. You say, well, you're hunting pedestrians? No, it should be hunters, please use caution when hunting, period. There are pedestrians using walk trails. That missing period, the full stop, changes everything. That you are hunting, it's okay to hunt pedestrians. Private customer parking only. All others will be towed. And this is not spelled toke, but T-O-K-E. All others will be towed. Here's church signages. Don't let worries kill you. Let the church help you. Let the church help kill you. And now it's a good time to visit. Our pastor is on vacation. Yes, the cat is away. We can all play. Sometimes we do not put thoughts into what we say or we publish. That can come up so wrong. See, when we put bits in the mouths of the horses, we can make them obey us. We can turn the whole animal. And so if we control our tongue, then we can now control where we are going. Like the way they put bits into the mouth of horses. These horses weigh thousands of pounds, much more than the rider itself. But when they put a little bit in their mouth, they can turn them left and right and go straight based on that bit. So if we can control our tongue, then we can then direct our lives where it should go and how it should turn. So it's very important that while you are going through pressures, crisis, and all that, bite your tongue, speak lesser, think first before you speak. Sometimes we condemn ourselves. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Well, you're already condemning yourself based on the problem. That actually intensifies, add another layer to your problem, and that is actually compound your problem. Or take ships as an example. Although they are so large and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a small rudder wherever the pilot wants to go. I can imagine that James is such a good teacher. He used so many illustrations. He used sheep, he used horses, just to illustrate the power of the tongue. He's such a good teacher. And if he is teaching, conducting a public speaking, if he's doing a public training, I would like to attend his course because he will give us so many illustrations to make sure that we get the point. Sheep, a large sheep, like this is one of the world's largest sheep. It's called the Symphony of the Seas. It actually 4 football fields in length. It's one of the biggest. It's like a little city floating in the sea. And yet, what controls it is a little rudder. What controls your body and your direction is your little tongue. It's your little tongue. Wherever that you may want to go, your tongue controls it. That little rudder controls that 4 football length ship to where it should be go. Just a little rudder here. Turn left, turn right, and all that. So whatever that you say after I am will follow you. For instance, I am stupid. Then it will follow you. So everything that you attempt to do because your filter says I am stupid, then you will react accordingly towards that statement that you have made. I am stupid. I can never be successful. Well, there you go. You just prophesy and then you lift up that self-fulfilling prophecy. I am ugly. And when you say that to yourself, then you will not be, you will have challenges in relationship because you think that because you're ugly, people will reject you and therefore you tend to overcompensate or then you try to hide. Because whatever you say after the word I am will follow you, will determine how you respond or react. When you say I am a failure, guess what? You will not attempt again because you're already doomed based on what your tongue said. So you direct your path ahead of you. So instead of saying, I am stupid, change that. I'm courageous. I'm courageous to try again. I'm not stupid. I did not make it, but I'm going to be courageous. You see, when you say I'm courageous, suddenly there's energy that comes off from inside, and then that gives you that courage to move on, to get up and go. No, nobody's ugly. I am loved. I am loved by God. Jesus died on the cross for me. It's not about the way we look. Except that I'm a failure? No, I am not giving up. I failed, but I'm not giving up. You see, it changes the whole tone, the whole dynamic. It changes our direction when we changes our speech. And that's why James is trying to convince the reader, hey, I know you're going through a lot of discouragement, a lot of fear, but watch your speech. Because when you condemn yourself, you're making your situation worse. So there is a cyclical way of the way we then conduct ourselves. For instance, we shape our words shape us, and then our words shape others. I'm stupid, and then I become stupid. And when I become stupid, then I then tell others that I'm stupid, and that's how people react to me, or I call others stupid because I tend to overcompensate. So you are unique. You're not stupid. You're unique. Maybe that thing that you attempt is not your gift. Maybe you should try again and work harder. No one in the world is like you. You are the original person. There's only you in this world. There was this policeman who was treated to a breakfast by this little boy. He doesn't know him. When the little boy saw this policeman walking up to the restaurant, and he took out his savings and went to the cashier and told the cashier and said, I want to pay for that policeman because he admired policemen and for the work that they are doing. Young boy. And he said, I will pay for the breakfast of that policeman plus tip. And then he wrote a note for the policeman. His name is Noel, and the police officer's name is Eddie Benitez. And so he paid $63 for the breakfast for that policeman. He used his savings, his allowance to pay for that. And then he wrote a note. He says, I want to be you when I grow up. Can you imagine a police officer who have possibly, have thankless tasks? They have to make sure that everybody behave orderly and all that. And suddenly you receive a note from a little boy who paid for your breakfast and said, I want to be you when I grow up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 words can make a person's day. How powerful that is. And then this policeman posted on his social media about this. He was so touched. And he said this, those words meant everything to me. Those words helped me get up every morning. Those 9 words, 9 little words, I want to be like you when I grow up. Those 9 words help me to put on this uniform and do what I do and be an example to boys and girls like him. Can you imagine if we use the same words to condemn ourselves and condemn others? The opposite reaction might be true. So watch your words. Don't condemn yourselves. Don't condemn others. You're already going through a lot in your life. Don't add another layer to that problem by condemning yourself. So 3 reasons to speak up so that we can be lifted up. Number 1, our words direct our lives. Number 2, our words can destroy our lives. The words can pick up, the words can destroy. Here, James is saying, likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes great boasts. Consider what a great forest is set on fire by a small spark. Early this year, there are many forest fires from California to Australia. All this started by men, who lit up the cigarette and put up a small fire, and it caused a huge forest fire that damaged houses and destroyed the ecosystem. It starts with a small spark. So everything that we say about ourselves can condemn our lives henceforth, or condemn someone else's life henceforth. Many times my patient will come and tell me that my parents never affirmed me, never said anything nice to me. And now that their parents passes on, they say that, I can never receive any word of affirmation from them now that they pass on. It's so sad to hear this. And when they begin to condemn themselves because they cannot receive that, they did not receive the those words of affirmation, they begin to destroy themselves from within. Sometimes I come in and said, I'm a preacher, I'm a pastor. I'm like a spiritual father. Maybe I can speak life to you. Maybe I can represent your parents and say, today you are blessed. I anoint you, you are blessed. Cherish you. I cherish you as a human being, and you should cherish yourself. I anoint you, I bless you, and I cherish you. The ABC of communication. Those little words to tell them that you are okay in spite of. Sounded so loud to such people. So many times, here is another article here that's talked about the California fire. Human-caused ignition sparked California's worst fire, but yet little state focus. When we are angry, there are 4 kinds of anger. Not all anger are bad. So you got to measure your anger based on whether your investment, your interest is based on others or yourself. If your anger is about someone else that you treasure, then there's a lot of interest in this person. Your anger is a passionate anger. That means you must know what kind of anger in order for you to respond to the situation. For instance, if your son is on drugs, then that kind of anger is called passionate anger, because you love your son so much. You don't want him to go and destroy his life, and so you get angry with him. That's a passionate anger. That anger is okay, but you got to then control that and deal with it properly and respond to that child, and then try to help the child to overcome this. That's a passionate anger. And then there's interest in self. It's not about others. It's a preference anger, because I want things to be done my way, no other ways. And so when things are not done your way, then because there's a lot of interest in yourself, then you get angry because it's preference. A lot of colleagues conflict, spousal conflict is actually a result of preference anger. I prefer that these shoes should be put here, not there. You cannot put your shoes in the washing sink, basin and all that. So it's preference. And so when you're angry, it's not just condemning a person. Okay, now this is a person that I love. This is a person I'm angry about because I love him. The motivation of my anger is because I love this person. I don't want to destroy. I don't want him to destroy his life. The reason for my anger is because things are not done my way. I'm upset. Okay, I need to calm down and say there are things can be done in many other ways that doesn't necessarily done my way, or But when I have low interest in another person, then that anger is projection. So I lost something, and then I projected the anger towards the person. I got absolutely no interest in that person at all, but I'm angry at the person. So I began to project my anger at the person, upset because I lost a job, I lost a position to him. So I began to blame and project it to him. So this is now projection anger. And if I have no interest in myself and no interest in anything else, then I'm psychotic in my anger. That means there's no trigger to my anger. I'm just angry. So you are mad. You have a mood disorder of some kind. So that's where you probably need treatment, medication, and all that. But as long as there's a trigger to your anger, then you can solve. Then you can find the cause to your symptom. Anger is often a symptom. There is a cause to it. You can eradicate the cause, you eradicate the anger, you eradicate the symptom. But when there is no cause to the anger, you're just being angry, and that becomes the cause and the symptom and everything all together, then that could be some kind of disorders. So it's okay to be angry, but then you must know what you're angry about so that you can control the way you respond to the situation. The tongue also is a fire, a wall of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole person, set the whole course of his life on fire, and itself set on fire by hell. The tongue is like a fire. It corrupts your whole body. The tongue is made of very flexible muscles. Did you know that? Your tongue consists of the most flexible muscles in your entire body. And it can bend, it can twist, it never gets tired. This is about the only muscles in your entire body that never gets tired. Therefore, we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. Your tongue never gets tired. Your body may get tired, but your tongue never does that, never gets tired. And therefore, it can just continue to spill out nonsense sometimes. It affects the whole person. You see, the tongue does not get divorced, jailed, beaten, depressed. You spoke something wrongly, you get jailed. You spoke something wrongly, you get beaten up by another person. You speak something wrongly, you get depressed. You see, the tongue does not get all this. It's the entire body will get it. Your tongue will continue to be there, but your body suffers. All kinds of animals, birds, reptiles, and creatures of the sea are being tamed and have been tamed by man, but no man can tame the tongue. It is a restless evil full of deadly poison. We can tame the most wildest animals, but we cannot tame the tongue. We can tame the elephant, even the tiger and lion. Like this woman, she tamed tigers.
As far as they're concerned, I am mommy. They rub me in the face. They'll let me kiss them on the nose.
Having pet cats may sound run-of-the-mill, But Janice Haley has taken her love of felines to the extreme, keeping 2 huge tigers in her back garden. Sabre, a 600-pound male white Bengal, and Janda, a 400-pound Bengal female, have lived with Janice since they were cubs. Despite tigers having a fearsome reputation, Janice has never been short of people wanting to help out.
Oh, here we go. Pretty much everyone that comes here to interact with them, my volunteers, are all basically part of their family.
Like most young males, Sabre can get a little boisterous, but that's not enough.
See, this is an example. They can tame this wild animal. We can tame them, but we cannot tame this. That's what James was trying to illustrate. So he uses horses as an example, the sheep as an example. He uses wild animal as an example. He's such a good illustrator. I believe he's such a good teacher. That's why he says, even teachers, don't assume to be like teachers, because we are going to be judged more than you guys. So he called himself a teacher of the word too. So the tongue is on fire. Number 3, the third reason to speak up so that you can be lifted up is because whatever you speak, display who you are. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. So you have to be careful. Your identity can be forged by the words that you speak, and how you tell people about who you are is based on the words that you use on yourself or about others. James chapter 3 says, with the tongue we praise our Lord and Father, and with it we curse men and who have been made in God's likeness. The same thing, your faith and your deed. Whatever you believe in and the tongue is not incongruent, then something is not right about your Christian walk. And so this is how we forge our identity. On Sunday, we are called Christians, but on Monday to Saturday, we condemn ourselves, condemn others like nobody business. And therefore, that's how we probably forge our identity. Out of the same mouth come praise and cursing, my brothers. This should not be. Can both fresh water and salt water flow from the same spring? No way. Fresh water and salt water cannot come together. And so we can be seen like, can both fresh water and salt water come from the same spring? No, words can poison the well. And so sometimes who I am inside, out of the abundance will flow out. And if I'm not in that faith, my faith is not strong, and I still have my old self in me. So out of the abundance of me, from within myself, then my words will spill out. Then that become who I am. The words that you use will become who you are. So if your well is empty, there's nothing for you to give, and therefore there's no way you can share and be a blessing to others. So we need to be filled. The more we are filled with the presence of God, the more we are able to give others. So the more we are filled, the more we're able to give. Filled with the presence, filled with the Holy Spirit, filled with the presence and the presence of God, right? The right filling gives up the right giving. Right? If you feel the wrong thing, then you give out the wrong thing. And if we are not continuing being filled, then we only give out of our emptiness, whatever that we have. And so when we are unable to be filled, perhaps sometimes the Bible says, out of the belly will flows out rivers of living water. But sometimes when we are so full of our old past, our old self, then we are not yet being transformed from inside out. We're still angry about our lives. We're still angry about what's going on. Then out of that, we pour out and give it to others. That becomes our identity. Now, people with harsh mouth, it comes from an angry heart. Whoever you are, can you just mute your microphone? Thank you so much. Negative mouth, if you're speaking negatively all the time, it comes from a fearful heart. That's a symptom. The person who's overactive in the mouth, they tend to be insecure. The more you talk, the more insecure you are. Filthy mouth tends to come from someone with an impure heart. Critical mouth comes from someone with a bitter heart. So what you speak exposes who you are inside of you. If a person tends to be harsh all the time, that means the person is still angry. There's no peace of God in their life. When the person is negative all the time, whether on others, spilling out negativity on others or themselves, that means they still feel insecure, they still feel fearful. So how you speak determine who you are. Be so busy improving yourself that you have no time to criticize others. And that's why we need to continually be filled with the word of God and with the power of God, so that our vessel is filled with the right stuff. And coming together every morning during this lockdown period, it's a wonderful time opportunity for us to learn and study the word together. Hopefully you have been filled with the right stuff so that you can give out the right stuff to others. So these are the three reasons to speak up so that we can lift up. Speak up when under pressure, speak up to lift up. So this is what he said in James 1:19. My brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to be angry. So three action, right? If you can follow me. Quick to listen, pinch your ear, slow to speak, slow to become angry. Okay? Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. All right? Just always remember, every time you're going through crisis, every time you're going through a challenge in your life and you're about to utter, quick to listen, slow to speak, lose the anger. When you're about to, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. When you're about to, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to become angry. Because out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. The same mouth that praises God should be the same mouth that will value and encourage people, and even to yourself. So that concludes our third lesson from the book of James. Tomorrow we'll talk about when under pressure, wise up. Okay, how to be wise in what's wisdom in the Bible. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I did preparing them. And I pray that the Lord will bless you, anoint you, and be with you. Now, the three actions, remember, when you're about to get angry, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. All right, remember, quick to listen. Come on, everybody, do this. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. So every time you're so angry, quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. All right, thank you so much for coming in today, and I hope that you enjoy yourself. And let me unmute you all. I did preparing them, and I say that everybody will anoint you and be with you. Three actions, remember? When you're about to get angry, okay, some of you are playing the YouTube video, that's why you can hear that. All right, great. Act so calm. Thank you. Good behavioral steps. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Okay, tomorrow will be our last in our series in the book of James. I hope you enjoyed this series, and tomorrow will be chapter 4, wisdom, how to wise up. So you can see the train of thoughts that this teacher called James is the way he writes it. He's just, the train of thoughts is just so good. I wish I can be like him. Firstly, he write to encourage, but then he said that, hey, while you're going through this, don't think only about yourself. Think about the widows. Think about others as well. Because when you think about others, when you're helping others, it actually reduces your own stress. Okay, now be careful with how you speak, because your speech can actually increase the intensity of your problem, or it can actually decrease it. Right? It can help to diffuse it, or it can help to destroy it. So be careful with the way you speak. And tomorrow it says, hey, you want to solve problems? You want to go through, you want to overcome that crisis? Wise up. And then tomorrow will be our last in this series. Okay, thank you so much. And I say bye to all of you. And let me just take a picture of all of you, okay, as we all normally do, so that I know who you are. Everybody, you turn on your camera so that I can turn on your camera and wave and smile. Okay, page 1 and page 2. Hey, Michael, you're there. You're silent today. You're in the silent movie, Michael. Page 2.
Yep, silent today.
Silent today, huh? You're not Simon today. You're silent today. Page 3. Wow, page 3. Everybody here are in the dark. You are living in the dark. Okay, okay, right. Have a talk on how to raise our self-esteem. Okay, yeah, why not? Enjoy. I'll do that in the next time. Okay. And Casey, by the way, the last time I visited Skyline was during the Japanese occupation. That was how long ago? Okay. I see you guys. I hope the lockdown, the MCO, the circuit breaker, and whatever that we're going to call it will, be passed so that we can all travel. We can meet each other and we can say have coffee together and all that. Ciao, ciao. Okay,
Bye,
bye.
sir.
Bye. Take care.